Welcome to Unscripted with Asha. We have our host, Dame Asha Khemka, and she is a trailblazer in every sense of the word. Born in a small town in India, she overcame cultural and personal barriers to become one of UK's most celebrated leaders in education. From learning English through children's TV shows to transforming vocational education, her journey is a testament to resilience, determination, and visionary leadership. With a career that spans decades, Dame Asha has been awarded a Damehood for her contribution to education and has inspired thousands globally through her advocacy for empowerment, education, and leadership. In today's episode, she brings her lived experience to the forefront, offering insights into the art of turning challenges into opportunities. So, ma'am, how was your journey?
First of all, thank you, Dev. It's lovely talking to you. And I feel it's my privilege to be sharing aspects of my life journey. So I'm delighted.
Mhm.
Um, well, the starting point, born and brought up in Bihar in a small town. And the key points are I was married at 15. I had lost my mother at 12 and a half, and I had
Mhm.
to take care of the household, so I had to drop out of education.
Mhm.
After getting married, um, after 5 years, three children arrived in 3 years
Mhm.
almost. We came to England in 1978,
Mhm.
and that was a life transforming move from India to Britain. So,
Mhm.
as they say, from Bihar to Britain.
Right.
And the arrival here was full of challenges, but full of opportunities at the same time.
Mhm.
So I have enjoyed. I had the opportunity to self-discover,
Mhm.
opportunity to be independent thinker, and embark my journey with my family, three children, and my husband here in England.
Right. As you've said, it's been a long journey. It's so for so long, and you have come here as like you have become a dame. How was your childhood like? And as we today's topic is like about barriers and how did you broke those barriers and have come so far? So your childhood was pivotal in your journey.
Very much so. I give credit to my genes and to my upbringing.
Right.
I had a very loving childhood where everybody was full of love, affection, gave me my independence. I was one girl in the family after many boys, so I was spoiled a bit. I was very fashionable, and my fashion sense still exists. But at that time, also with limited resources, I managed to do what I wanted to do. So what happened was that self confidence of being pampered and nurtured by a very loving family played has played a big role. Also, the family background, people were professional, not a lot of money, but we ate well, we dressed well, we spoke well, and that carried me throughout my transition from India to England. Although I didn't speak English,
Wow.
although I had very little education when I came here behind me, but I had self confidence, I had the self reassurance, and I never took no for an answer. And those ingredients played a big part in uh, going through
Mhm.
the challenging times of learning to speak English, to educating myself as a mature student, doing my degrees, and raising the family at the same time.
Wow. So you mentioned that confident was very pivotal, and you from very small you were very confident, right? So if you can share a story or a small anecdote on it, like which reflected from the very beginning that you were very confident and it was there from within. Yeah.
Yeah, one key example is when I lost my mother at 12 and a half. I had to drop out of school and become almost like a housewife to take care of the household. Three brothers, two younger brothers who were just 1 year and 2 year younger to me, elder brother who was 3.5 year older. But I became almost like mother to them and took the responsibility. Then my father remarried, and I had the opportunity to start all over again my education. I completed that education. So that is a clear example of that when given the responsibilities and challenges, the leadership comes
Right.
and plays, and your confidence, your self assurance, your challenge, your nature of challenging people, processes, systems, that that also play a big part.
Right. So some people believe that confidence is something that should be innate, and as confidence is something that should come from within. Do you believe something like that, or you believe like they can develop confidence, or they can work upon that?
I think confidence is about mindset,
Right.
how you think, how you take things on board,
Mhm.
how much you try to prove above and beyond,
Mhm.
how much hungry you are for your own ambition and your own self to prove yourself what you can do and how you are, what how much capable you are. So I think must be confidence, must be, as I said, how you have been brought up, because I was told all the time, you are the best, you are the best, and you can do anything you want.
And it's something
Obviously that
internal.
helps.
Yeah, and it's something internal. We cannot like be
Yeah.
externally dependent on confidence. It's something that we should come from within, if you agree.
Within, yeah,
Yes.
confidence comes from within, but
Right.
also confidence can be developed with the
Right.
mindset. If you change your mindset and you start to think you can
Mhm.
do it and nobody can say no to you, then the confidence is there. So it's both. It comes from within. Some people have to work a lot harder at it. In my case, I was fortunate that the confidence was there, and I had to uh, completely get into my mindset I can do anything I want.
Amazing.
And the reason for that is committed, driven, ambitious, and never afraid to take challenges on. And challenges always, they became opportunities for me.
Wow. Transforming challenges into opportunities. That's what confidence is. So yeah, so
Yes.
you, as you mentioned, you came to UK when you were very young and with three kids, unfamiliar with the language and the culture. Can you share what those early days were like, and how did you adapt to those situations and everything?
Yeah. So when we arrived in England, my husband came 3 months before us, and myself and three kids. We came in 1978. I was 25-year-old and had three pounds when we arrived.
Just 3 pounds.
Uh, just 3 pounds. That's what we were allowed to do. And after coming here, I learned a lot. My first few days were so much of about learning every day. So when I came here, it was snowing. So saw snow for the first time. When we arrived in Birmingham from London, Heathrow to Birmingham, and saw the house where we were going to live, I was amazed. I was very pleased to see what was available there. So, for example, television I saw for the first time, bathtub to give children bath I saw for the first time. So there were lots of fuss going on, and I was learning in that process. But
Wow.
at the same time, difficulties because I didn't speak English, and that was necessary. But I never felt afraid. I was not afraid to make a mistake, to make a fool of myself or whatever. And I tried. I sat with children and watched television, and I learned a lot. And also tried to speak to mothers in the play school with when I went to drop them, and so on. And the other thing was on the icy roads in my sari in early days, I used to slip every morning. And the key point here is I will get and my foot feet firmly on the ground, and carry on. And that has been my key characteristic.
Amazing.
So, yeah,
So always coming back up even when situations are not favorable.
yeah,
Always being
uh,
confident and always adapting and learning.
yeah. And there have been a lot of moments.
Hmm.
We are talking very early on in my life at the moment. But
Right.
even when you progress through the ladders, so uh, I, I was full-time housewife for the first 20 years of my married life.
Okay.
When children started going to school, then I started a typing course and never looked back from there to office skills course, then to teaching qualification, and started working as an administrator in a college of further education.
Right.
But that job didn't last very long because I was always hungry to do better, and people could see that I have a lot to offer.
Right.
So after that, I became a part-time lecturer, then full-time, then a coordinator, then a head of department, uh, deputy uh, principal, vice principal, and then became principal. Obviously, I'm cutting long story short,
Right.
uh, but and we were traveling from place to place at the same time, and changing jobs in this process. But everywhere, uh, I wanted to make a difference. And there are a few examples I can give you, which probably will be interesting to
Right.
know. So, for example, I was working in a college in Tamworth. I was appointed as deputy head of faculty
Hmm.
for business and finance, and it was a big job. There were about 1,200 students in that faculty, and many staff. But very soon I realized the job that I had applied for was not the job I was thinking.
Okay.
Although the title was deputy head of faculty, but my job was basically sorting out the timetables and keeping an eye on staff and their welfare and all that.
Okay.
So one day I decided to knock on the principal's office door, and I went in, and he said, "Hello, Asha, come and sit down." The principal's name was Rupert, and we were on a first name term.
Hmm.
So I sat down, and so he asked me the question. So tell me, what what brings you to my office?
Hmm.
And I said, Rupert, do you know what I do? And he said, yes, I do. Your job is deputy head of faculty of business and finance. I said, yes, of course, that is the title I have. But do you know what I do? And he said, okay, tell me. So I told him what I do.
Okay.
And I said to him, you can appoint a good administrator who will do a better job than I do. I came here to make a difference in quality assurance, in curriculum change, bringing innovation, technology into curriculum. And I haven't got any of those opportunities. So you are wasting your money and I'm wasting my time. And he was stunned uh, hearing this, and he said, "Do you know what you are doing? You are creating. You are going to be out of job uh, because the way you are putting this across." I said, "Well, that's the truth. I have come here to make a difference, and if I'm not doing that, then the job is not worth the job." And do you know what? From that point onwards, everything changed in the college. There were other faculties, they were restructured, and I was appointed as a director of quality assurance for the entire college.
Oh wow.
So, this is just an example that you have to be truthful, you have to express, and um, don't just carry on with the process and system and people what they say, but you have to be clear, focused on what actually you want to do. And if that does not happen, try to be bold and take a step forward.
Great. So you mentioned you mentioned ways to fit in, and then also you mentioned ways where you should not compromise by fitting in. So that's
Yes.
very versatile talent to have and inspiring. Like not everyone has that talent to like call people out and call themselves out. Like this is not a fit for me. So that's amazing to hear the anecdote that you shared, ma'am. So, as you mentioned that you have achieved incredible success in education. What motivated you to pursue a career in education and eventually lead the transformations that you have done?
Yeah, to be honest, from the very beginning, I had never thought that one day I will be a college principal, or I will receive uh, um, royal honors like OBE and DBE and become a dame or anything like that. I was just doing what was coming my way and the opportunities I could take.
Right.
So when I started learning typing
Mhm.
in a college,
Right.
I was doing well. So everybody encouraged me to do something else, something more. And then I was told that I will be very good as a teacher, as a lecturer,
Right.
because I have a concept of explaining things properly. I have a concept of understanding things systematically. And that's what led me to do my teaching qualifications. And after that, also, I just walked in a college.
Mhm.
We were living in a different place, Oswestry, the place was cool. And one day I just walked in a college and I wanted a job. So I spoke to the receptionist and I said, I've come here to see your principal. And the receptionist said, why do you want to see the principal? I said, I'm looking for a job, teaching job. And the receptionist said, ma'am, it doesn't happen like that. We'll advertise the job and you have to apply and then we can consider your application. I said, I know all the process, but I do want to see your principal. And we were having this discussion, and the principal, he was overhearing us from behind. And then he came out and he put his hand out and he said, hello, my name is Sean McLaughlin. Who are you? So I said, my name is Asha Khemka. So he said, come and sit in my office and we will talk because I've been overhearing your conversation. And we spoke about what I can do. And then he's asked me, so Asha, tell me, what is your ambition in life? And I said, Mr. McLaughlin, I had not thought about this before, but seeing you in that chair, I would like to be in your chair one day. And, uh, and he just smiled and he said, oh my goodness, I can't believe what I've just heard. Start tomorrow.
Wow.
The job was, yes.
And then you ended up being a principal. So you
Well,
manifested.
not, yeah. And then I became principal after many years because I had to go
Right.
through the career ladder. And he knew that I had become principal, and he wrote me a very nice letter. He said, I remember the scene when you came in my office and sat in that chair and you wanted to be in my chair.
Gotcha.
So it's amazing to see this. And when I became a dame, he wrote a letter again,
Wow.
and I said to him, the credit goes to you, Mr. McLaughlin, for giving me the opportunity when I needed the opportunity. And
Right.
he said, yes, that's good, but you have carried forward the challenges and you have done the best you could.
Wow. That's amazing. So, looking back, what would you say are the most important lessons from your journey that others can learn from as we are talking about your journey today? So, the important lessons
Be yourself,
for yourself.
never pretend you are somebody else. And I will say, um, self reassurance, self confidence, self belief. I think that's very, very important. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will believe in you.
Right.
That's one. Secondly, always go above and beyond to the job you are doing or you are asked to do. Go that extra mile to prove yourself above and beyond. Hold data, hold knowledge, and with that, use that in order to make a difference, whether they are students, whether community, whether they are systems or education policy or whatever it is. Third, never be afraid of challenge, processes, people, and systems. Fourth, never take no
No.
for an answer.
Wow. These are amazing lessons to always be confident, to know what you're doing, always be aware what where you are, right? So, and always staying prepared. These are amazing pointers, amazing lessons. How would you advise someone very young, in their teens, who want to break their barriers, who might have internal and external barriers? How would you advise them to break those barriers? Because you have done so. So yeah,
Yes, I mean I have been through a lot of barriers.
right,
There is not one single piece of advice which I can
right,
give to anybody. But if you read my story, every step of the way, you will find how you overcome
right,
those challenges, issues. One example, other example, I'll give it to you.
right,
Uh, is when I was progressing through the ladder,
right,
doing the jobs I was doing, it was all fine. When I wanted to become the boss, the chief executive, the principal,
right,
that's where all the deep-seated prejudices
right,
were there. In the boardroom, people didn't want uh, a person who has been a mature student or
mhm,
from a different background or a different starting point.
right,
So how do you go about proving yourself? This is about never giving up. You have to examine inside yourself.
right,
Are you fit for this job? Are you fit for purpose? The purpose which is in front of you. And if you feel there are shortcomings, you go
wow,
and you make sure you are right and equipped properly in order to do that. And that's what I had to do. There were times when I was suffocating inside a bottleneck. I was desperate to get to the principal's post, but probably at that point I was not ready because these posts they require a knowledge on finance, on state management, on policy management, on students welfare, on curriculum, on quality assurance. There are lots of different aspects, data, technology. So I had to go and do other job for 2 years to make sure that I have got all that in my hand. And then I started applying for the post. And that journey was a little bit easier, although the deep seated prejudices were still there. And then you have to prove yourself. So, for example, as part of the interview process, we were all shortlisted candidates were given a task about what's your vision for this organization. Why do you want to come here? And a presentation. And I did my presentation. I started with, I, I have a dream, and I want to make sure that dream comes true. And my inspiration came from Martin Luther King's saying, what he said once. And then I went on to demonstrate what my dream is and how it's going to be realized. And
wow.
that made a huge difference. So this is how I would say people should go about. But every step you will come across hurdles, you will come across challenges and issues. And if you have a chance, read my story.
Sure thing, sure thing. So yeah, our viewers can surely check out your book, which is India Made Me and Britain Enabled. They can get a copy of it. It's available in every platform, right? Google Play, Amazon, and other platforms
Yes,
too. So, if we were to condense, if we want to, if someone wants to break the barriers, they have to work on themselves. They have to have a self-reflection, and they
yes,
have to work on themselves. Without working on ourselves, we can never break barriers. That's
no,
such a beautiful take that you have shared, ma'am, today. Uh,
thank you.
and surely we can know more from the book, and surely we'll check out your book, and the users will love to read it. Uh, then that's all for today. It was such an amazing conversation to have with you. Learn how to break barriers. Looking forward to more conversations like this and learning more from you and how you have transformed so many lives and your life. That's very interesting, very fascinating. Thank you for all the lessons and thank you for all the
Thank you.
guidance.
I have enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Thank you.